So if you've ever been here to Valdez, you probably recognize this place. This is Solomon Gulch Fish Hatchery, and it's world famous for having bears that are down there in the water. But unfortunately today there are no bears in the water. What there is in the water are a bunch of sea lions that are out fishing.
Like a borrowed coat, going through the motions of a man who forgot he ever had a throat raw enough to shout. Then one morning something pulled me past the guardrail and the gravel lot, past the sign that said the trail gets hard from here, past the version of myself that almost stopped. And the mountain didn't greet me, didn't offer me a hand. It just stood there being enormous and dared me to understand. And I did, God, I did.
We booked a cruise with the Stan Stevens Glacier and Wildlife Cruise. And what the intent was that we were going to go over to the Columbia Glacier. I haven't seen a glacier up close in a few years, and I was really excited to take my family to go and see it for the first time. But what happened was definitely not what we expected.
Something the summit showed me I can't unlearn. Something the summit showed me said everything I thought I knew to burn. And now I chase it like a man who knows exactly what he's after. Something the summit showed me that I will spend my whole life.
One of the things that you need to be mindful of anytime you go up to Alaska is you need to make sure that you are very aware of what the weather is going to be. And this was no exception. Prior to us going up, we looked at the weather forecast and it looked wet. In fact, it was scheduled to rain every single day except for one of the days. And it was true. And it dumped on us. But while we're on this boat, one of the things that was unique about the fact that it was rainy is that the boat's capacity was about 145 people, but there were only about 40 people, which meant that we got the best seat in the house. Regardless of where you sat, you get the best seat, and you didn't have to worry about fighting the rest of the passengers for you to be able to see. Now, there was an incident that happened, and you will learn about it later in the video, but it was amazing. And even though that it wasn't this amazing, sunny, green, crystal clear water scenario because it was rainy and it was overcast, it was still absolutely fantastic. There was nothing that I wanted to be doing more than being out there on the water with my family.
I'm still following, still climbing, still chasing what that morning cracked wide open in my chest, because everything below the tree line since that Tuesday has felt like settling for less. Something the summit showed me I can't unlearn. Something the summit showed me said everything I thought I knew to burn, and now I chase it like a man who knows exactly what he's after. Something the summit showed me that I will spend my whole life running toward, running toward, running toward. You wanna know what it showed me? I'll tell you what it showed me. It showed me I was smaller than I thought, and larger than I feared. It showed me that the noise I carried everywhere dissolved the moment the altitude appeared. It showed me that the man beneath the obligation, beneath the debt, beneath the decade of compromise, was still alive, still wild, still capable of something that no one in that valley could recognize. And that man right there is
So we are putting this stuff out of the way.
mile, every blister, every pre-dawn dark, every time I choose the ridge over the comfortable and the safe.
So we're currently pushing through the actual ice field. The boat is using its keel and its, I don't know what I'm talking about. The boat's pushing ice out of the way. So we are getting really close, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get to the point that we can actually see it. As you can see, we've got a tremendous amount of overcast and deep fog, and it's just not letting us get too close, but we'll see what happens. There's some more ice hitting the boat. I feel like we need to start singing a little Celine Dion theme song from the Titanic. I'm the king of the world! Not really. Well, a little funny story about our little adventure out here on the ocean. I was standing out in front of a window recording some whales, which you probably will have seen the footage. And all of a sudden, this older lady comes and stands right in front of me. I'm like, what? So I moved off to the side after a second, thinking, like, you've got to be kidding me. What, like, really? Of all the places to stand, you had to stand right in front of me. And then it dawned on me. This was her passive-aggressive way of saying, get out of the way. You're blocking our view. So it was the lady that was on the inside that was too lazy to go outside. Now, granted, it is cold. It's rainy. It's overcast. But, you know, like, I geared up. And I came outside, and I was standing there. I got the reward for taking a chance and doing something a little bit on the uncomfortable side. And passive-aggressive old lady decides that she wants to come outside and stand in front of me to tell me to move, when it could have been a lot nicer if she would have said, hey, excuse me, is there any chance you can move off to the side? You're blocking our view. And I'm like, absolutely, I would have totally done that. But no, she's going to get called out in this video being the passive-aggressive lady who doesn't know how to communicate to come out and say, hey, could you move? Please, you're blocking our view. So, sorry, lady, you got called out in the video. Yeah, I blocked your view, but it is what it is. I got out there because I decided to brave the cold and the wind and the rain to get the best shot that I could possibly get for you guys. You're welcome.
There was two eagles sitting on top of the weather station. One flew away up to the right, and the other eagle is still up on top of things, above those solar panels.
So that was fun. I've done the Kenai Fjords tour, and I would have to say that the Kenai Fjords tour is cool, and you see some awesome stuff. But the Columbia Glacier tour through the Stan Stevens Glacier Tour Company, that was phenomenal. I haven't seen icebergs or ice in the water since I was a kid. And so I've done the Kenai Glacier Tour, or the Kenai Fjords Tour, 2 times, maybe 3 times. Never seen any type of ice in the water at all. But we had to dodge ice left and right the entire time. That was fantastic. So if you guys ever have a chance to come to Valdez and you need to do a glacier tour, do this one versus going all the way to Kenai. Now granted, Valdez is a bit of a drive. It took us 6 hours. Well, we stopped a lot, so maybe 8 hours for us, but it's a 6-hour drive just to get there. It was fantastic. So, stay tuned. We got more coming at you.
You know, the story about the MS Princeton is actually pretty fascinating. Back in September of 1980, the MS Princeton, which is a Holland American cruise liner, caught fire out on the ocean when the crew was doing a routine fuel filter change. Now, ultimately, the ship sank, and it's sitting in about 9,000 feet of water right now. But every single person, passenger and crew member, they all made it out alive. And this boat that's right here is in commemoration of that experience. This is one of the rescue vessels, and it's a very fascinating boat. It has the ability to manually propel the boat using levers. And they were out in the water until they were rescued. But they have this boat here and like I said, a commemoration to the MS Princeton.
All right, so this is Glacier View Park, just outside of Valdez off of Airport Road. And as you can see, there's still a lot of glacier remnants here. But yet, if you look let's see if I can zoom in here. Nope, I can't zoom in. But if you look way up right about there, that is the glacier. But yet you got all these icebergs that are down here. How is that even possible? It's possible because, I don't know, it is. And the water is freezing cold because it is glacier runoff. Let's do a little touch test. Holy mother of pearl. That is as cold as what you would find in a refrigerator. I would not want to go swimming in this. However, I do have experience of doing some rafting back when I was about 15 or so in a glacier runoff river just a few miles up the road here. You don't want to get in. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to get in. But this is really cool. The place closes at 10 p.m., which is in about 20 minutes, I guess. But because the overcast is hard to tell, it is almost 10 o'clock at night, and yet you can see pretty much everything like it would be down in the lower 48 at about 7 p.m. right now. If the clouds are not there, then you would definitely see a lot of sunshine and everything will look pretty daytime, maybe even around 3 p.m. Now, one of the things that you do have to be careful about here is that you are in bear country, and anything in these bushes could have a bear. So you want to make sure that you make your presence known by saying stuff like, "Hey bear, hey bear, you there?" You can do that, or you can just whistle. I don't like whistling. I mean, I do, but I don't like other people whistling around me. But you just got to make yourself known, the presence there. But you can see you've got all of these glacial remnants. The terminus moraine is right here. You got all this dirt and everything pushed up. And we got whistling going on behind me. But one thing that I can tell you about this place is this is absolutely stunning. We got a little bit of ice movement in the water. Check that out. Maybe you should go up there and check it out. So it makes a lot of sense that this is actually moving water because the glacier is up there and this is the pathway. So I guess it makes a lot of sense why you would still have this stuff here, but that explains why you have movement in the water here. Now, when I was a kid, we would stop by a place called Portage Glacier, and they had Portage Lake, and inside Portage Glacier's lake, they had these icebergs, and we used to grab the ice and put them in our cooler so that we keep our food cold, obviously, when we would head down to the Canyon Peninsula to go do some fishing on the Russian River or on the Kenai. All right, so we're going to call it for Glacier View Park, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to take one last run over to Solomon Gulch and see if we can find some bears trying to get some pink salmon. They are not quite in the hatchery yet, but I mean, obviously, as you saw earlier, the sea lions are there, so they're fishing for something. So I'm curious if we're going to be able to see any bears doing some fishing. It is nighttime. We have yet to see a bear, hopefully not on this hike, and we have yet to see a moose, and I wouldn't mind seeing that tonight. But we're on our way over to Solomon Gulch one last time. We hit the road early tomorrow morning, and that'll be the end of this episode of our journey back home to Alaska, and we'll pick you up on the next one. right, well, we're here, Solomon Gulch, as you can see, and super low tide. When we were here this morning, where I'm standing right here, I would be in the water, and it's, I won't say dry ground, but it's definitely not, it's not wet. Yeah, those are no bears. I was really hoping that there was going to be bears so that we could see them playing in the water right about into there, but there's nothing. There's no bears, and it's super low tide. You can't even really see anything like in a tidal pool. You can't, I mean, I guess you could probably start looking for little crabs, but yeah. But yeah, this is the end. Let's show you the ocean. Such an amazing, beautiful place. I've only been here one time in my life that I can recall. Talking with my parents, that's all that they can recall. So this is only the second time in my life that I have ever set foot in Valdez. I love it. This is such a beautiful place out in the ocean. I learned today that this is known as Alaska's Switzerland, or the Switzerland of Alaska, because the mountains are very reminiscent to how Switzerland looks. Now, I've never been to Switzerland. I've been to Austria, been in Germany, never to Switzerland, so I can't really say that or confirm that, but I can tell you that that's what they say. But this place is amazing. It's beautiful. The ocean, there's so many waterfalls that are here, and I absolutely love waterfalls. So that about wraps it up for this episode of my return trip back home to Alaska.